Ben, Teradata is in a really high throughput, high computational business. You guys are using incredibly sophisticated analytics and a tremendous, tremendous amount of data. I mean, what you have available to you is pretty incredible to find signals. In many ways, Scott was on earlier. That's his forte. That's what we want to, make our knitting on as well. Can you speak to you guys' value proposition just a little bit?
Yeah, thank you for having me here, and it's been an honor to sponsor this conference. This is my first FICO World.
Thank you for sponsoring.
And having a fantastic time. I've been to a lot of technology conferences. This is the first time I've ever seen an executive jump out of an airplane. But what I'm really impressed about is it's not about the technology, it's about how people are using it. And that's really exciting for us. So what Teradata is bringing to the table is we know everything about customer today. We are that enterprise data repository of trusted information for our customers. And we will have years and years and years of history that allows us to do a lot of long-term simulations and understand what has been happening over time and what we can look at, right? And that integration with FICO platform is going to make it much, much easier for the users to try and understand things over time. So we look at the concept of multidimensional data. We know everything about customer and product and channel. We also are now learning about the relationships customers have through graph analysis. And now over time, what is the time series of events that are going on? Not only that, but the as is, as was that's there. Now, those 5 dimensions, very complicated as you bring it all together to try and figure out what's going on with either a customer or a bad actor. Now you bring in large language models and generative AI and those vectors that Dr. Zoldi talked about. Now integrate that in as a 6th dimension to try and really figure out what's going on in the marketplace. That's where we specialize and try to help our partners to pass those signals that we can find in the data into a decisioning engine.
Yeah, pretty incredible. It's a very unique value proposition and certainly something that folks in this room really can resonate with. By putting together your value proposition with our value proposition, especially in the fraud space, we can do something really special and solve fairly critical problem sets. Can you maybe just talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, you put the value proposition perfectly on Monday morning session when you said the holy grail of customer is intent aware.
Really hard to do.
Yeah, it's very hard to do, but that's what we try to focus on is the intention of what's going on. So one of our large multinational financial institutions was having that access takeover problem. And what we were trying to understand is what's the intent of the customer journeys that they're going through on the digital channel. And by being able to run some of that heavy computational math in a very rapid time frame against very large data sets, we are now able to continuously score and monitor over 250,000 different types of access paths to an event. That event is that signal that we can pass to the decisioning engine to try and say, hey, this has been as a good actor, and this has been as a bad actor. How are we able to continuously evolve the prediction to say, are they trying to do something so we can have the decisioning engine interject in before the money is taken?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for being here, Ben. Great to have you guys sponsoring with us. Look forward to getting this to market and putting it in place and starting to get customers on and talking about the value that they've derived from it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Ulysses, welcome back. It's been 2 years since you've been on main stage at FICO World. When you were here last, you were talking about One Itaú. By the way, Itaú is the most valuable brand in Latin America. I mean, that's a pretty remarkable thing for a financial institution. Before we get too far into this, can you maybe just talk a little bit about Itaú One or One Itaú? What does that mean? And particularly in the space of fraud protection, how does that manifest itself?
Yeah, sure. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me today, Nikhil. It's really nice to be back to FICO World main stage. So One Itaú, it's our transformation to have really a customer-centric approach across all retail business units in Itaú, Brazil. So we believe at Itaú that the more engaged and satisfied are our customers, the higher are the results. Therefore, we are placing 100% focus on our customer and their needs. And in fraud, we are pretty committed to deliver remarkable and safe experiences.
Yeah, thank you. Ulysses, what are some of the requirements that you need in order to be actually able to fulfill this?
I mean, we have been relying on FICO partnership as well, so FICO platforms and tools have enabled us to deliver real-time, data-driven decisions and allow us to calibrate the desired levels of customer friction with risk exposure. So we have seen with Falcon, for instance, which we deployed 3 years ago, that in this time frame, we have been able to reduce over 2 million the number of victims of frauds in credit cards, 2 million.
Wow.
Over 2 million.
That's an incredible impact.
It is. And for real-time payments, we are underway right now. So we are looking forward to have the new platform deployed by the end of this year. And based on what we already capture with credit card platforms, we are pretty optimistic. So,
yeah, no, that's pretty remarkable. And we're really excited, particularly on the real-time payments piece, and looking forward to seeing how that starts to really impact your business. Ulysses, part of One Itaú is, and really One Itaú is about being customer-centric and customer-obsessed. And we talked yesterday here on main stage about how customer communications is such an important part of that last mile and closing the loop and making sure that that delivery of the experiences is bang on. Can you talk a little bit about how you're using customer communications in your anti-fraud mix?
Yeah, sure. So it's a key element on our strategy. The CCS allows us to offer to our customers a digital and frictionless channels as part of our sensitive journeys. So, for example, a suspicious fraud confirmation. And since we adopted CCS, we have been able to sustain high response rates. For instance, we are running around 75% per day with peaks within the day of up to 92%, so really high.
Wow.
And we're looking forward to keep capturing this type of value. So it's really an important element on our process.
Fantastic. Ulysses, thank you so much. Thanks for coming
Welcome.
back. Look forward to having you back and sharing more of the value that's being generated and how it's impacting your customer experience. One of the things that Bill talked about yesterday was native API integration between customer communications into FICO platform, so it's natively available in platform moving forward. It's a big step forward. It's going to make it much, much simpler to be able to activate and turn on customer communications directly from FICO platform. Thanks. Julie, very nice to see you again. You've been involved in the fraud space for over 25 years as a practitioner, as an analyst, as a researcher, as somebody that's really steeped in understanding how this business has evolved, how this market has evolved, what different types of actually fraud exist out there. You speak to many in this room on a regular basis, and you just heard a bunch of stories. How do you see the market evolving and changing given the current construct?
So first, thank you for having me. And FICO World is always one of my favorite events, both for the content and for the caliber of people you attract. After the aircraft carrier, you have set a high bar for next year, my friend. So good luck with that. But yeah, I've been in the space a long time. And I think those are the folks in the room that are on the front lines. We've seen this rapid acceleration of the threat vectors because Fraud Inc. is automated. They've got all of our data. They don't have to go through model risk governance to use Gen AI against us. And so just the acceleration of the threat vectors, especially as they follow the faster payment rails, that's what we're up against now. And so that really means that we have to be much faster, much more nimble, and to balance what Adil was talking about, what Ulysses was talking about in terms of just making sure that we are putting the customer front and center and giving our good customers a good customer experience. As I talk to our financial institution clients, that is the big challenge. It's how do you balance that, get those 2 million loss prevention incidents, but also give your good customers a great customer experience. And so that really requires a holistic understanding of customer behavior. And that, I think, is the most fundamental challenge that I have seen people grapple with, but also start to address. And that actually becomes a competitive differentiator, because I do see that our financial institution clients that are doing this well and giving those great customer experiences and having a greater ability to onboard the good customers and send the fraudsters away, that sets them apart from their competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that holistic approach is so important in making sure that you're looking at it from a full 360-degree perspective. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how the market is evolving from a holistic approach?
So it's not easy. It requires having a good understanding of your customer data. And data is tough, especially if you've grown your data in silos and you've got different tags for DDA versus credit card. But it's not just about your static data, it's about bringing in the right data at the right time, especially from a digital data perspective. So you can get this holistic view of a customer. How do they behave? Does all of this data make sense together? And that sort of holistic approach to understanding behaviors, understanding digital plus static data, that's essential to really creating that good customer experience.
Yeah, fantastic. Julie, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the relationship we've had for a long period of time, and look forward to many, many more years. And I'm pretty sure my team is sitting out there thinking about how to make it even better than the aircraft carrier next year. Thanks again, Ulysses, Ben, Adil. Much appreciate having you guys here.